brother Jose, or Facho as we know him, and nicknamed him when he was a young kid. And the thing that I remember the most about him was that even when he was a young kid, other kids, dogs and animals followed him home. All the time that we were out and about, and he'd always come home with some stray cat, stray dog, and they all seemed to gravitate to him. It was, I guess, something within him that kids related to and recognized, and he was just, ever since I remember it, that's the way it was. It was interesting times.
I want to tell him that I love him, and that I know that he's called by the Lord to preach, because when he was young, he wasn't a guy that liked to talk a lot, and I know that the Lord really called him to preach.
And my brother has been there for me no matter what. All I have to do is call him and he's there. But he's Facho. He'll always be Facho.
Well, it's not easy for me to speak about my own brother. He's the fourth one of four brothers born to my mom and dad. And I am just so happy to be able to be here on this day, be able to say something on behalf of my brother Facho, better known as Facho to everybody, but his name is Jose. And it just makes me feel good about him being the youngest and being successful in this ministry. That's even better. Now I could go back into many things that I can recall about him being a child.
Haciendo esto para mi hermano, es que Dios me ha bendecido mucho y estoy muy contento con mi hermano el chico.
This is your little sister, Facho, and they told me that I needed to say something funny about you, and I thought and I thought and I thought, and I couldn't think of anything. The only thing that came up to my mind was when we were teenagers.
When we were growing up, Facho's always been Facho. You know, he's always been kind-hearted. He's always been, he doesn't judge, and we have the tendency to judge.
Now, as a young child, oh my goodness, there are some crazy things that we can recall. Him and his uncle, who was his fellow kid, Abel Arias. They grew up together because what is it, nephew? No, his uncle and nephew. Uncle and nephew. And they kind of grew up together, and they were a riot. But I think I better keep limiting myself to some things.
Oh, just one, come on. Just.
I remember a little story, event that happened that my sister Maria Hernandez was selling tamales, and then she used to do that for raise funds. She was a widow and she was supporting herself, and she used to be a worker for the church. And my brother said, "Mama, there comes Maria," and then he said, and she's selling her junk.
And one day you did something to me, I don't remember what it was, and Mom and Dad punished you, and they sent you to your room. And being the wonderful person that I am, of course I had to go to the back door, and I had to go tease you, and I was teasing you something terrible. And I remember, you have to remember that Uncle Facho is not his temper doesn't get to him too often, but when he does, you better watch out.
Well, one of them was the time that, he doesn't remember, but the time that he would be in the back of the church property, which is the house that they use now for teaching classes, and he was wearing let me say this in the best way I can, he was wearing a diaper, and his diaper was, the crotch was almost dragging on the ground, and we're trying to get him to clean up. I mean, he didn't want it, he just kept getting messed up and doing his thing. But anyway, that's the most vivid picture I have of him as a little kid. Oh, he was a riot. But as you know, we all love my brother. He was the youngest of 10, I think it was, in our family. Though we only 7 living now, remaining, he's still our favorite. not that you have favorites, but I mean, the most we care about it, are concerned about him.
I remember all of a sudden I heard the back door slam, and I knew I was in trouble, so I started running for my life. And as I was running and praying, I was praying, boy, Lord, save me, because if he catches me, he's going to kill me. And I was running and running over toward to my sister's house across the street. And all of a sudden I turned around to look, and I couldn't hear him back of me, and I turned around to look, and there was my brother in the middle of Diamond Street with his pants around his ankles. I tell you, that's not the power of prayer. I don't know what is.
Because he didn't like Mexican food. And then my mother said, don't say that. And so it was funny because now he likes everything. So thank you. Good enough?
That's good.
I'd like to say that I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of my older brothers for the life that they've led. And in this place where we grew up, and my dad and mom, and I'm happy to say that I'm pleased the way that they brought us up and taught us what life was all about.
But that's part of our heritage that our parents gave us, is the power of prayer that has put us through a lot in our lives, and yours, I know. And I thank the Lord for our parents that instilled that in us, that prayer changes things. And I thank God for that.
Of course, he was looked upon, taken care of, and got away with more than we did. But the good thing about it, that through the years he was able to come to know the Lord, and then he was appointed pastor in Hollister. And while he was doing the pastoral work in Hollister, he was living with me in San Jose, and I was pastor in San Jose at that time. So I saw his development, and I'm very proud to say that he has fully developed into a good minister, and I'm kind of sad in a way that he is retired, because if you were to ask me, as a retired pastor, that it's the most difficult thing to do, because your total life changes. You are not as active as before, you're not involved as before, even though people call upon you, but you just have to change modes of operation, and that's hard to do, being involved in the church. I pray that my brother Facho will be able to make the transition fine and be able to be involved to some degree, but I just pray that he'll be able to stand it.
And I hope that God takes care of him, and he gives him the help that he needs. I know he's not going to drift away from the church. He'll always be here. He may not be pastoring, but he'll be here. And that's my brother. He's there for me, for everyone.
I feel blessed that my three brothers were ministers and were able to contribute to the growth of the church, not just here in Riverside, but throughout, and the places they have gone to and visited in South Central America and all that. I just feel happy that I was able to be a very, very small part of it. And thank you, Facho, and I'm happy for you and Loli, and I look forward to you having a fantastic retirement, that you do the things you want to do, and you have the wherewithal to be able to do them. I love you, kid. Have a terrific time.
Y su trabajo ha sido muy especial para mi vida también, porque él me ha sostenido en sus oraciones y se ha mantenido fiel en su palabra, y por eso estoy aquí dándole gracias a Dios por mi hermano el chico. Dios les bendiga y Dios les guarde. Dios les bendiga.
So I pray that he'll continue to grow in the Lord and have his retirement years as being the most pleasing and satisfying ones to come along, because as we grow older, we lose our strength. We're not as strong as we are. We don't see as good as we did before. We don't think as fast, and it's hard to stay on the line. Now, let me tell you, by that I mean staying straight, because you walk kind of funny, like you don't know whether you're going to the left or the right, because you start losing your balance and such. But anyway, it's good to be present to say congratulations, Facho, on your successful ministry and the many successes you had throughout the state. And we pray that you'll continue to be so as you go on. So God bless you, and thank you so much.
And I thank God for Loli that prayer changes things, because she's been a great friend to me. She's been a great wife to you, and I thank God for that. And I don't have very many minutes. They told me 3 minutes, so this is it. God bless and I love you. Have a happy retirement. Bye.
And I want to tell my sister-in-law too that I love her, and she's been a very good wife to her husband. And may the Lord bless them and the rest of their years they have on this earth. And there's...
Well, it has been said that behind every good man there's a good woman. And that we have to say, Lord has been very faithful to him. She's right behind him on everything he's done. He supported him, and besides that, she's a tremendous cook. And I tell you, and she's got a grateful heart and a giving heart. And I admire my sister-in-law, Loli, for being what she is. And I pray that she'll be able now to stand up and support Facho, because it'll be a little bit more difficult, and he'll be around more often than before. But I thank God for Loli and how she came around, and because of Loli we got Licho, which is the younger sister, the Jimenez, and I'm so glad that she also came to the Lord. I can just go back and think about those good memories of Loli and Licho and Joe, and it's just wonderful. But it was through Facho and Loli that the others came in. So I thank God for that. So Loli, God bless you, and may God give you strength to carry on and support Facho as you have always done, but be able to bear with him even more now that he'll be home many more hours than before. God bless you, Loli. Take care, my dear. God bless.
También les quiero dar gracias a Dios porque es que mi cuñada Loli y Facho me han mostrado mucho amor, y les doy las gracias porque mi esposa y mis hijos también quieren mucho a Facho y a Loli. Dios les bendiga.
Oh, Loli's, God sent her to us. I love her very much. And she's very truthful. She doesn't mess with words. She tells them what it is, and when it is, and when it isn't. And God has, if it weren't for her, I guess we wouldn't be as big a family as we are, because she is the strength of the family, of my brother. Because if she hadn't been there for him, maybe my brother would have never succeeded as much as he did. But because of her, and because of everything, the families, she is a blessing, not just to him, but to me and to the rest of us. And I love her very much. And I hope that she will be able to handle retirement